morning to everybody and a very, very warm welcome here to Karolinska Campus. Today, we do not only celebrate the office move of Bayer Sweden to Solna campus, the home of the famous Karolinska Institute, and now also welcoming companies like Bayer. Today, we also celebrate collaboration and life sciences. Bayer's office move is actually an important symbol of how we are moving closer together. Both Bayer and KI are opening up for collaboration in the life science sector. We are closing the gaps between academia, healthcare, industry, and society. The global challenges of today's world with an aging and growing population are increasing. And we need to find new solutions and for products for feeding and healing the world. And it's absolutely clear to all of us that we can't do that alone. We are all in it together. Sweden has a great history of innovation and technology and life sciences. Best evidence for that is, lots of world-known innovations coming from Sweden. And just take the adjustable wrench, very helpful tool, but also things like the pacemaker or the Celsius thermometer, they are all coming here from Sweden. And many world-known companies come from here, and I do not need to tell you that IKEA is one of them. But we also have Spotify and lots of digital startups coming from Sweden and having their home base here. And finally, if you look at rankings, Sweden in the recent years has always ranked as being one of the most innovative countries. Sweden is important for Bayer. Several local and global partnerships have been concluded here in the past few years, both within research but also with startup companies. And just to name a few, there is World of Cancer, there is Piloxa, there is Koala Life, and also the tech hub, hope I spell it right, Norsken, for social entrepreneurs. So clearly, Sweden is a great place to foster innovation. And there are several factors which might play a role, and that is, for example, the social stability here in the country. It is the support from the government we are getting. It's also a very high level of equality and education. And I'm therefore very honored to welcome the Swedish Minister of Research and Higher Education here to us. So Matilda Ernkrans, sharing your sides with us on innovation and life sciences. So please give Minister Ernkrans a big applause and please come to the stage.
Thank you very much. Honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure and a privilege to be here today. As the Minister of Higher Education and Research, one of my top priorities is to promote excellent research and innovation. I firmly believe that this cannot be achieved without cooperation at all levels, between disciplines as well as sectors. Therefore, it's especially exciting to attend today's event. The move of a global life science company to the premises of one of our most eminent universities is clearly a step in the right direction. I have great hopes that this will create new interfaces resulting in fruitful collaboration. Basic research that is carried out at our universities provides us with new, groundbreaking knowledge. However, research must also meet the global challenges that we are facing today and tomorrow. Here, I think the cooperation and co-creation with the surrounding society is of utmost importance to maximize both the relevance and the quality of the university research. When it comes to life science, cooperation is a part of the concept. So many players are involved in this field: academia, industry, healthcare, social care, not to forget the patients. Setting up new arenas and platforms for these players to meet and cooperate is one of the keys to success. Much is at stake if we don't provide the fundamentals needed. Increased incidence of lifestyle-related diseases, pandemics, and an aging population are all global challenges that demand new solutions. Research and innovation within the life science field can address these challenges by providing novel solutions and allow us to deliver healthcare in a new innovative way. Therefore, life science was one of the first fields chosen when the Innovation Partnership Program were launched in 2016. The programs were created on an initiative of the National Innovation Council, chaired by our Prime Minister, Stefan Löfven, with the aim to find innovative solutions to major global challenges facing society today. This challenge-based approach, building on cross-sectoral collaboration, is a great way to fuel innovation, and it is an important building block in Swedish innovation policy. The Life Science Innovation Partnership Program has paved the way for some exciting accomplishments that have been made in close cooperation with industrial partners. The AstraZeneca BioVenture Hub is one example. The Testa Center in collaboration with GE Healthcare is another. These innovation hubs offer collaborative environments with access to research infrastructure and competence for the participating partners. The Testa Center was part of a larger governmental investment in biological pharmaceuticals, which is a Swedish priority. Sweden is about to position itself as one of the leading countries for the development and production of biological drugs. Broad efforts have been made within this area, including a national research program for protein research and production of biological pharmaceuticals. In parallel with the government's initiative, the Wallenberg Center for Protein Research was established. This center is run by 3 universities, the Royal Academy of Technology, Uppsala University and Chalmers, with main funding from Knut and Alice Wallenberg Foundation. AstraZeneca and the Novo Nordisk Fund also contribute financially to the center's operations. These investments, the Testa Center, the Protein Research Program and the Wallenberg Center for Protein Research, are all parts of a greater whole, a brilliant example of the level of resources that can be raised when government and private actors work together. As Minister of Higher Education and Research, another of my top priorities is higher education. Swedish universities should offer higher education that is relevant, accessible, and of high quality. Also in this area, cooperation between universities and the surrounding society is crucial. I am deeply engaged in giving more people access to higher education. We need to nurture education that is available all over the country, education that collaborates with and develops the society. And for this way, we need to find new ways forward. Access to distance studies may be one example. We must build a strong foundation so that more people get access to higher education, regardless of class, gender, or geography. Investing in higher education is a win-win situation. Higher education creates opportunities for the individual, and at the same time we can provide the competence needed by industry, for example, making Sweden more attractive to invest in and to do business in. Therefore, it is important that we maintain an up-to-date and ongoing dialogue between academia, students, and future employees. Sweden is a major player on the life science arena. This success rests on continuous commitment to excellence in research and development and drug discovery, as well as our ability for cross-sectoral interaction and cooperation, something that I discussed just a few weeks ago with my German colleague, the Minister of Research in Germany, Mrs. Karliczek. Karolinska Institutet continues to be one of the top universities in international rankings, and we have a world-class research infrastructure here, such as the SciLife Lab. The Swedish government is strongly committed to continued support to life science. The Swedish Office for Life Science that was established last year plays a major role in this regard by coordinating the efforts made. The office is currently working on a national strategy for life sciences, which I hope we can launch this fall. A national life science strategy must be well anchored within the life science society, and we must take advantage of all the good ideas and initiatives that flourish within this innovative sector. Therefore, I invite all of you, urge you to contact the Life Science Office with any idea that you may have on our and on how to future strengthen this very important field, or come and talk to me during the mingle. Lastly, I would like to stress that no sector can meet future health challenges alone. We need to strengthen our cross-sectoral relationships further and face the challenges together. Thank you so much for listening.
Yes, thank you, Minister. That was very inspiring, and actually I must say I very much liked that you share the same vision, the same view on education, but also on collaboration between the different sectors, and that we have to foster that even more. So the Life Science Office is surely an office which we will contact from our side as well, and we want to be an active player in the Swedish ecosystem. Now, let's give a warm welcome and applause to our next speaker, which is Kemal Malik, member of Bayer's Board of Management and our Head of Innovation. Kemal, please come to the stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to be here. My name is Kemal Malik. I'm member of the Board of Management of Bayer, responsible for innovation. I care passionately about innovation. And what I fundamentally believe is that innovation, and through innovation, we're addressing many of society's challenges. When Bayer was formed over 150 years ago, the average life expectancy in the world was 32. We've doubled that over the course of the next 150 years. If you think about the West, Average life expectancy in Sweden or in the UK was 40. It's now over 80. In terms of productivity of farmers, we've substantially increased the productivity of farmers with the consequent effect of feeding a growing population. But to that note, whilst innovation's done some amazing things for society, we have some amazing things that we're going to need to do. If you look at the demographics of the world, we're going to double the number of people over the age of 60. We're going to increase the world's population by another 3 billion over the course of the next 30 years. And we've got increasingly scarce resources. And once again, I fundamentally believe that the only way we're going to address these challenges is through innovation, through world-class science and collaboration. And that's something I want to talk about. Now, those are the challenges, but we really do live at a time of amazing opportunity. Our understanding of science, of biology, has never been at the level it's been before. We have new technologies, the microbiome, stem cells, gene editing, and cognitive science. We really are fundamentally understanding much more about disease pathogenesis and how we can address this. And I'll talk about some of this a little later. But allied with our understanding of biology and science is the amazing growth in technology capabilities, artificial intelligence, blockchain, robotics, and this juxtaposition, these two coming together of amazing understanding of science, allied with the technological advances, a term that's described as convergence, is really going to yield very powerful solutions for us as society. And this is an opportunity for all of us in academia, in companies, in governments, to embrace these opportunities. So as Bayer, we operate in three predominant areas: pharmaceutical, consumer, and crop science. We have a mission statement, science for a better life, and we are fundamentally committed to innovation and research. Bayer as an organisation spends 5.6 billion euros, 56 billion kroner a year on research and development. That makes us one of the largest investors in research and development in the world. We have 17,000 people working in research and development in Bayer. So our commitment is very significant. In terms of our areas, in pharmaceutical, we operate in three prime therapeutic areas: cardiovascular, oncology, and women's health. And those are our prime areas of focus as a pharmaceutical company. In crop science, we operate in crop protection, in seeds and traits, in the digital farming area, and in professional products, golf courses, etc. So those are the areas that Bayer operates in. We fundamentally believe that operating in the areas of health and nutrition are addressing some of the fundamental challenges that society faces: a growing population, a growing elderly population, and a need to feed the world. But the bit I really want to concentrate on, and the reason why I'm delighted to be here, is to talk about open innovation. This is a way that Bayer reaches out to the external world in an effort to work and co-create innovation. And what's our ambition here? Our ambition is very clear, is to connect with the brightest minds across the world to co-create the leading solutions in health and nutrition. A sort of topic that the Minister touched upon, this value of co-creation. When I joined the pharmaceutical industry back in the 1990s, we had closed innovation. Everything we did, it was an American company, Bristol Myers Squibb, everything we did internally from our own research labs. Companies then evolved to something called open innovation. How you reach out to the outside world, how do you source innovation? But the ultimate goal is to work within innovation ecosystems. And that's why I'm delighted that we're going to be co-located with the Karolinska where better for a company like Bayer to be than one of the leading biomedical institutes in the world? And this innovation ecosystem is being part of these areas where innovation is being created. And how are we doing that as a company? There are three main ways. The first, and the reason why I'm here, is to be present at places where innovation is happening. And not only am I here, I see that our head of open innovation for pharma, Carl Ziegelbauer's here, head of R&D for pharma, Jörg Muller's also here. This is showing our commitment to reaching out externally, and I think they're holding a session where Bayer meets biotech, where Swedish biotech companies are going to come and discuss what they're doing with us a little later today. We also have venturing activities. We have a corporate venture fund, which we use for seed investments, as well as some larger activities, which I'll talk about at the end. And we have our traditional open innovation programs. By these means, we are aiming to reach out to the world. I talked about our life hubs. These are the ones we have currently in Berlin, in Osaka, in Singapore, in Lyon, in California, and in Boston. So those are in many of the areas where are so-called innovation hotspots around the world. And this is an example of one of these where we have a joint lab with the Broad Institute in the area of precision cardiology. Just another example of how Bayer is trying to co-create, where we work in their labs and they sometimes come over and work in our labs, and we're co-creating innovation externally. But we have many alliances and opportunities to work in the Nordic region as well, and this is a busy chart that shows the landscape of activities that we have in the Nordic region. Our presence at the Karolinska will only give us the opportunity to enhance that. The fact that I'm here, that my colleagues are here, shows our commitment to wanting to work in Sweden and in the Nordic region in general. I just want to finish off by mentioning a couple of other initiatives that Bayer's got, which is something that's known as Bayer Leaps. This is our opportunity to harness the potential of some of the things I talked about, breakthrough innovation, and these new technologies that have the opportunity and potential to fundamentally change the way that we treat patients. I'm a physician, and when I was still practicing, I treated a lot of people, but I very seldom cured them, apart from those with acute infections where you gave antibiotics. But we now lie at the cusp of a revolution in terms of biomedicine, where we'll be able to potentially cure diseases that have plagued mankind. And that's through the utilization of amazing technology. Our company that we formed, Cosibia, which is with a company called CRISPR Therapeutics, is looking at the potential of using gene editing, something called CRISPR-Cas, to look at how we can fundamentally change the DNA of patients if they've got a faulty piece of DNA, with underlying conditions like sickle cell anemia, thalassemia, autoimmune conditions, inherited blindness. We can use gene editing to cure patients for the first time rather than just treat them. Our other initiative is a company called Blue Rock, looking at the stem cells. Stem cells are the sort of originator of all cells in the human body, and this is using stem cells to potentially regenerate cells that have either died or are not functioning properly. The lead indications are in Parkinson's disease, where there isn't enough production of a neurotransmitter in the brain called dopamine, but also in cardiac conditions. Can you imagine a situation where a patient has a heart attack and their cardiac muscle has died? You can use stem cells to potentially regenerate, develop new cardiac muscle. And our final initiative is using microbiome. We're all surrounded by bacteria. As human beings, we have more bacteria in our body than our own cells. We're using the microbiome in terms of plants, where the environment around a plant, the microbes, can reduce the need for systemic fertilizers. The production of systemic fertilizers is very resource intensive, both in terms of water, but also the production of carbon dioxide. And the potential use of the microbiome to enhance plants' nitrogen fixation can reduce our dependency on artificial fertilizers. By these initiatives, we see Bayer being at the forefront of the new advances in science. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to find out more about what Bayer does, speak to the people here from Innovation, but also there's a web portal on innovate.bayer.com. Bayer is very keen to work with the ecosystem, as the Minister said. No one can answer society's problems alone, but if we all work together, I'm sure we'll get somewhere along that road. Thank you very much indeed.
Yes, thank you, Kemal, for your inspiring speech. And I must say your approach towards the innovation ecosystem resonates very well with me. And it clearly underlines why we are here. And it fits perfectly to what we also heard from Minister Erkrans earlier. Now, Karolinska Institute is one of the most prestigious, iconic centers of excellence in research and innovation. It's also home of the Nobel Prize, so since the beginning of last century, the Nobel Assembly selects and chooses the Nobel laureates for physiology or medicine. And therefore, I'm very happy to welcome the Pro-Rector of Karolinska Institute to speak here as well, Karin Dahlmann-Wright. Please come to the stage, and big applause for Karin as
well. Welcome, Bayer, to Campus Solna. I'm sure that together we can do much more than each as an individual entity to make us all stronger in life sciences. And I think for that we need academia, we need large pharmaceutical companies like Bayer, we need small and medium-sized biotech companies, and we also need the ones who actually provide the premises for us. I think in this case it's Akademiska Hus, so I think we need all aspects of the sector. I would also invite Bayer actually to join our ambition to make this campus more sustainable. I think it's like individuals we contribute to the overall global sustainability. But what I'd like to do today is to tell you a bit about Karolinska Institute, and particularly of course our ambitions in life sciences. Yeah. So, we have a brand new strategy, where our vision now is we are advancing knowledge about life and strive towards a better health for all. I think that's something we can all agree to who sits in this room. Furthermore, our strategy rolls out 3 strategic directions. And these strategic themes are mutually dependent on each other. We want to strengthen our international profile. We want to strengthen our collaboration with the healthcare sector, higher education institutions and others, and together it will reinforce the knowledge needed to create new research breakthroughs and increase educational quality. So we want to position ourselves as a global university, as an engaged or collaborating university, and as the groundbreaking or forward-looking university. So where are we now? Well, we are in what we call Life Science Cluster Solna. And we actually know this cluster works. So on these 5 pictures going from the top left, you can see the interacting partners here. So we have the big hospital right at the top. We have then Medica, which is our building for experimental research, which houses about 1,200 research and experimental research. We have at the bottom, we have the clinical research building housing about 1,100 clinical researchers. In the middle bottom we have SciLife Lab, which was mentioned by the Minister, a collaboration between 3 universities in Stockholm and Uppsala University to bring forward and provide expertise in infrastructure technologies for health and the environment. And right at the bottom to the right, I think we have something which has become like a symbol in some ways of life sciences. Our magnificent Aula, which is very often used, I think, to brand this particular campus. It's a magnificent Aula. But we know it works, and we really collaborate a lot between this. But we want to develop, of course, the campus Solna further, and that is what we want to do together with other actors. I would now like to deviate a little bit to tell what Karolinska Institute, what are our infrastructures in terms of innovation. So we have actually, to make value of our innovations, we have a holding company. This is a company which is totally owned by the university, but it is. And under this, so Hans Möller up there, he is the CEO of this, our holding company, and I happen to be the chairperson. So the holding company itself, it's investing in early startups and managing a portfolio of investments. It provides expert advice during company creation and corporate governance, and it also provides finance and administrative services. And it does so particular to the 3 daughter companies it has. Karolinska Innovations, which I will tell you a little bit more on the next slide. The Karolinska Institute Science Park, which is a way to provide an ecosystem for small startups here at the campus. And also we have Karolinska Institute Housing, which I will not tell you any more about, but it is really a way by which we build and provide, what is it called, premises for our researchers, our guest researchers. Flats we provide for the guest researchers. Sorry about my English there. So then just, if we dig in a little bit more into Karolinska Institute of Innovation. So Karolinska Institute of Innovation, which is headed by CEO Lilian Wikström, it covers all aspects, starting from idea into actually deliver a company. So they have 3 aspects in reached. Here we inspire, we educate, and we scout for business opportunities all around the scientific landscape. Then of course now comes, we have to verify the commercial potential. Most scientists, they are not so good at this particular aspect. They want to do their science, and here I think we can contribute so much by helping them to see what is really your commercial potential here. How should you make your patenting strategy? And finally, of course, we have the final stage, the drive, which is the company incubator, where early companies mature and we have finance and business development. And the idea here is then to make sure that all the ideas from the original scientific bench right until you can deliver a company. And then the Karolinska Institute Science Park then provides, once the company is ready, it can be part of our science park and then mature and flourish in a very nice and creative environment. So, our life science cluster and our campus. Well, actually, we have already a lot of actors here at the site, and we want more. So we have Sweden Orphan Biovitro, we have Janssen and Johnson with smaller activities, and these are all in different. Because Karolinska Institute, we actually left a number of premises recently to moving out to our big building. And then we have left a number of premises which is very suitable for small and larger companies. We have then Waters coming in, we have Big Pharma buyer, and then we have our holding company, which is supposed to be a Karolinska Institute Science Park and create an interesting ecosystem. So how do we nurture our life science ecosystem? Well, thank you, Bayer, for moving here. I think you set the stage, hopefully for more companies coming. Together with Akademiska Hus, which we are very grateful to, which is the premises company here at site, they are investing 100 million Swedish crowns, corresponding to about 10 million euros, into an innovation house. This will be perfectly located central at our campus. Here we will have the co-working space for small startups, established companies, and others. And I think this is so important, once you're a small company, that you can meet others and also you can get access to infrastructure, which is really advantage of scale to share with many others. And then we have the Karolinska Institute at Science Park then, which is the Karolinska Institute, the holding company, owns this science park, and here we hope to have offices, incubator, laboratory facilities for newly created and mature life science companies. So at the moment, the day we hold in this park is included 47 companies with together 680 full-time employees. So, fantastic campus and a great potential for interdisciplinary research. And I think this is what is so important also, that it's only by working together with medicine, engineering, scientists, humanities and social sciences that we can really make the benefit for human health. And that's why it's so important we have the Karolinska Institute here, which is a medical faculty alone, but within clear biking distance, not really walking distance. We have the Royal Institute of Technology, engineering school, and we have also Stockholm University provides all social sciences, natural science and humanities. And of course we have also the Stockholm School of Business. So within biking distance we can find a full university. So that was our holding company. Now I want to switch gear a little bit and tell you why for us there is such a great value of industrial partnership. So I think it's together that we actually build excellence in research, higher education and innovation. And I think here it's changed so much that we really need to work together. We can share knowledge. Industry knows things and we know things, and by working together we can do much more. I think industry, as well as ourselves, provide unique expertise and competence. We can educate and train people in different aspects. And of course, resources, finances and infrastructure. I think by sharing infrastructure, for the Swedish research society at large, infrastructure becoming a very significant cost. And by sharing this, of course, we can do more. And I think also by having both academia with strong brand name and also strong pharmaceutical companies, I think that is very important to attract global expertise and investments. So, altogether, we can maintain and improve Sweden's competitiveness in life sciences, which is all what we want to do together. How do we work? Public-private partnerships. I think we try to get now more long-term strategic partnerships between the university and the industry. I think if you have a long-term partnership, it really provides the foundation for truly translational research efforts. We can really trust each other. Science to industry and efficiency to academia. We need to have milestones and delivery-driven approach ensures focus on key goals. We have to ensure data reproducibility, shared and public ownership, and of course it allows us to work towards objectives that cannot be achieved by an organization in isolation. So we do all this for the interest of society. We do research and we utilize it, and we utilize it in different ways. Some becomes university-industry collaborations, some we license to enterprises, transfer to participate in university and clinics, and of course some is immediate applications, or eventually it all goes out to society. We also have, which has worked together with the industry for a long time, we have a joint entrepreneurial training, and this is collaboration with the Stockholm School of Entrepreneurship. And these students actually, they very often do a longer project work in industry, and I know they are all very happy with it, and many of them actually continue to work in industry after this program. So this gives broad perspectives in education, interdisciplinary learning, and we have a natural graduate school with Uppsala and Lund University, also in drug discovery and development. So, other interactions with industry. I think I skipped this. And then I want to go to this one. So, in Sweden, recently we had an evaluation of our clinical research done by the Swedish Research Council. And Stockholm, we wanted the best, of course, we always want the best. But the conclusion was, in one aspect, we were not best. Several states like this, several of the actors in the region are in the early phases of major transformation programs, whereby they are working together to strengthen implementation processes and to ensure that high-quality clinical research results in maximum benefit to society. It was very clear that they didn't think that we were good enough to implement our research. So that's something we really have to do. And of course, innovation is one way by which we implement our research. Another aspect which I think will be important when we work together, academia and industry, is precision medicine. And this will actually be my last slide in that context. So I used to work in drug industry in the end of the 1990s, and everybody talked about personalized medicine, and very little has happened for decades. But now I think things are actually happening. And again, then I think it's so important to have academia and industry working together. Because we need the correct treatment for the right patient at the right time. Of course, more targeted therapies have minor side effects, and also we can have better diagnostics methods for analyzing and identifying health and disease. So I'm so happy, 20 years later, this dream is really coming true. I actually skipped this, and I actually want to close with this one. I think I've taken my 15 minutes. So I think this is something which I really want to promote, and I think I can actually do it with some trust also, because I have a background in the pharma industry also. So I think universities and pharma industry both work to improve human health. We have the same ambition. We address this task with different but complementary expertise and approaches. We need to share ideas, knowledge and resources. And I think this is something we need to also explain so clearly to our academic colleagues, that in industry there is so much also scientific expertise and knowledge. There is so much knowledge about methodology and techniques, and there is so much knowledge about patient needs. And I think the second thing about methods and technologies, industry has worked much longer than we have with actually quality assurance of the methods that you use. And I think here, again, is something academia can really learn. So, what should we do? We should co-create, of course, but we should also co-locate, because if we co-locate, we can co-create better, I think. So, please, collaboration provides multiple opportunities that together make us globally attractive and competitive, and put this beautiful site on the world map. And I think this can really become a very strong brand name for excellence in life sciences that is not only excellent science, but is also used to the benefit of society, the individual and society. So with that, I want to thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I must say that was very motivating, and also seeing, well, all those plans you have, be it the Innovation House, be it the Life Science Cluster, to be increased more, and all those different plans. That sounds really very fascinating and exciting, and even more good that we are here on the campus and we are already co-located and have this co-creation space where we can work together. So thank you all the speakers, and thank you all for coming. My key takeaways from what we heard here was that I mean, there are great opportunities out there, and we just need to grab them and work together to come up with new innovation in the life science area. And actually, Bayer's purpose, Science for a Better Life, resonates very well with the vision of Karolinska Institute to make a significant contribution to the improvement of human health. Now, I said at the beginning that we are opening up to enhance collaboration, and we want to do that more with research, with healthcare and other institutions and other companies. And Kemal just mentioned it. Actually, we are starting with that here already today, and so today and tomorrow we have the Bayer Meets Biotech event, and during that event we will meet with 9 Swedish biotech startups, and we also have a large crew here from our global headquarters in Germany, and together we will discuss and exchange ideas with those startups, and hopefully learning from each other and maybe collaborating in the future. But this is not only what we are doing. Also internally, we are fostering collaboration and experimentation. And that is for our employees. And the best example for that is actually our new office building here, right over there. It's completely different from what our old office was, with glass cubicles. Here now it's open, and that is the new thing, it's activity-based, so that the colleagues can really meet, interact, and exchange with each other. But that's for theory. Why don't you convince yourself? So you are all invited to come over, have a look at our new office building. We are very proud of that, and convince yourself how it looks there. Just follow the signs outside. It's a short walk. There we will do the official opening ceremony. It will not be a ribbon cutting. That would be easy. That has been done. We will do something else. So please come and join us. Thank you very much.